Oh, you're
issues.
fine.
It's a technology. I'm not really a technological person anymore.
I know, man. It's like every day something changes, man.
Every day they're playing games with us, bro.
Yeah, I
That's what it. All right,
feel like
let's
a
see.
boomer. I feel like a boomer every 10 days.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, now it's live again on Facebook. All right. So what is up,
Okay,
my brother?
cool.
Pleasure to meet you. Like your stuff. Checking out the
Yeah,
stuff
we're
from
live.
ancient Egypt. We're all good now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
man. How,
he
so
was checking out your.
sorry.
We were trying. I've been
How
binge
do I
watching your
pronounce your name?
videos all day.
What are you saying?
Thank you. Yeah. How do I say? How you want me to call you? Do you want me to call you by your government name, or do you gotta? How do you go? Like, what's your handle? I guess like.
I'm,
Cause you know what I mean. I'm
Alex is
not familiar.
fine. Ash. I have
I
so many
know you're
names,
big on
bro.
TikTok.
Cosmic
Yeah.
Space Dad. CSD. But nah, Ash is fine. Alex doesn't matter.
All right.
I meet so many people out in the world. It's pretty interesting. We'll be walking around. People run to me like, Cosmic Space Dad? Hey.
So how do I find you on Facebook? I didn't know you was on Facebook. I thought you was on.
Facebook, I think my page is the Priest of Ashes. I have like two different pages, the Asylum Theorist and the Priest of Ashes. But I haven't really posted nothing on the Asylum Theorist lately. I've been on the Priest of Ashes a lot. That's where I normally do stuff.
Okay.
And that's from when the Priest of Ashes is before I did my 40-day fast. I'm the son that did the 40-day fast, by the way.
Okay. All right. Yeah, man. Maybe it should be a good conversation then, man. So are you streaming to the Priest of Ashes now?
No, I'm not. I'm just doing it to my mom's. All
Okay.
that stuff like that. I'll grab the video later and post it up there.
All right, cool.
I don't
All right.
like I do a lot. I used to be like really into technology, you know, and like doing everything, putting all the voice out and speaking all the time and trying to get all the information out. And then I started realizing people are just gonna argue with you all the time. All the time you're gonna get argued with. And I'm like, so
man.
It'd be like that though. That's kind of how it goes. Because people are gonna have questions. You can show them all the information and have it right in front of them, but if they don't read, then
yeah, like you're mostly commenting for other people. You're not commenting for the person that's commenting on your shit. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you're like, I'm gonna leave this link and say this shit, but it's not. They already made up their mind. It's not for them. It's just for the person that comes upon the comments, and they, you know, yeah.
People love my videos though. People who watch it, they don't be liking it all the time. But we're like, I watch your stuff all the time. It pops up in my stream. I'm like, you can send me a like, bro. Dang.
No, yeah.
They ended up throttling me like a while ago, and I realized I think they've tried to turn it towards a pay to play.
Pretty much that's where it's.
Yep. You got to go ahead. You want to get more followers? You got to pay $40 to get your video out. You made a good video, get it out there, have people see it. And I'm like, I don't feel like dealing with that.
Yeah, it pretty much is that. And like, you know, if you spend that $500 a month or whatever, I mean, you can, you know, you're just going to be at the top of the feed of a lot of people's phones.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like, it's not going to be meaningful clicks. It's just going to be people that, they opened their phone and they saw you.
Yeah. It's not the algorithm bringing them there to it. Because the algorithm does kind of kick in and help, you know, people figure out. It'll put right in front of you, right in front of your face, what you're looking for if you know how to pay attention.
Yeah.
Or a lot of cat videos. I mean, I'm not mad about the cat videos. It give me some dopamine. I've been with
I definitely have my fair share of cats. Cat videos that I like, man. You know.
Have you seen Reebs?
On a cat person?
So Reebs, she's on TikTok and I think she's on Facebook too. REBZ. She has a parrot, and she's teaching her parrot to sing death metal.
Oh, yeah, no, I never seen that, man. Yeah, I see the TikTok world. I just got into TikTok, man, but I feel like TikTok is the most censored.
TikTok used to be so much better. Like, it used to be a lot better when I first got on there back in 2021. But that was before the social media. Everybody wants to be an influencer, get on there, and everyone's just talking about, like, randomness. women talking about men ain't nothing, and you just see all these different posts, and so it's too much information on there, which causes information overload, and essentially you're not going to get out of it whatever we used to be able to get out of it, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. They just saturated it so much to where, people just can't even get their voice out there. I mean, by the time I got on TikTok, I had made mine like into 2022, and I maybe got like 800 followers, and then I didn't use it for like 2 years until like recently I just started putting reels on there. But I see like every other reel, they'd be like flagged, hit, this one, or they mute them.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn. It's almost like, I don't know if it's because Larry Ellison, I don't know if there was like a wave where things were open and then Larry Ellison bought it and that wave ended, or what?
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Whenever they did that TikTok shutdown and then it came back like within the next hour or so, that's whenever they changed something major in the algorithm or networking or something. They did something. They pushed something.
Yeah. I mean, Larry Ellison. Yeah. I mean, I guess
certain knowledge
people will move on. Yeah. Guess people will move on to the next thing. I guess figure it out another way.
Yep. I mean, it makes you have to fight through the algorithm. Also, like with the things that I teach, I'm not even sure if I want people to understand the hell of the things I'm teaching. I kind of leave it inside like a riddle. That's what I realized inside all this. A lot of the sages and mystics and stuff, they left everything inside riddles. And it's like a big ass video game we're playing. That you have to undo the riddles for.
Yeah, I think it's like the riddle. I think it's like really clear though. Like I think it's really direct communication for the person that's like astute. It's just that like if you are confused and fragmented, or just really tired, you probably just won't get it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like your name Tao, right?
Yeah.
Have you read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth?
Man, I feel like at one point I was reading a lot of books and I feel like I did come across it, but it was I got like this. I get the gist of it, but I can't like pull out quotes out of my mind.
Yeah,
but I get the gist of the Emerald Tablets.
So inside there, like number 5, the Dweller of Unal is the name of the chapter. It says like he builds things from his mind. He forms them out of the power known as Yotalan, Ytolan, right? It's an anagram, and it's missing one letter. It's missing the letter D from One Piece, the worst generation. It's like a game is playing the whole time. So Ytoland, you get land. And then YTO, you got to rearrange it. It becomes toy. Toyland. But by the ability of AEIOU and how those vowels switch around, right? You take that Y and make it into a U. It becomes a Tao, or a temple of understanding. Like the whole creation's a temple of understanding, essentially. That's what I've been finding. Like, especially with the yoga and the breathing. And like when I was doing my fast, super important to be outside and get the sunlight, but also to like balance your breath and to take in the energy from the world around you. Yeah. And like based on your mentality, the way your mind works and shit, you can translate energy. The longer you fast, the more the matrix breaks down, and the more you fall back into the dreaming.
Yeah, that's why I think people don't do it. They don't want to go through that transition period where you gotta really address what's going on when you're dreaming.
You gotta. Did you ever read the Hobie Prophecy, the Blue and Red Kachina?
No, can't say I have.
So inside of there, they talk about all the stuff that's going on right now, like everything that's going on in the world. Literally, they call it inside that prophecy. The children don't know themselves. Men and women are confused with each other. People will be walking around giant concrete jungle cities wanting to die but can't die, and all the stuff like that. And I'm like, But inside there, it says that those who remember the original teaching will be saved. And I was like, well, that's kind of unfair if we don't remember the original teaching. Like, where are you supposed to find that at? And then I started looking at like the Aboriginals of Australia, because it's really weird. We call them that, right? Aboriginal. And I'm a massage therapist. So AB means to abduct or to take away from the body. And so original people, original teaching, it was dream time.
Yeah.
And then I found it inside the 4 Toltec agreements that it was dreaming as well. And as American Indians, we have dream walking that we do. So the dreaming thing is like yogis. Sadhguru, he told a story once. A man went and sat underneath the tree, and he was like, I wish I had something to eat. And so food appeared. He's like, I wish I had something to drink. And so drinks appeared. He's like, man, there must be some really good service here. It must be ghost. So ghost appeared. And he's like, oh no, they're going to torture me. So torture happened. Oh no, I'm going to die. And so he died. And like the story is like he was sitting underneath the wishing tree, and the wishing tree is inside your spine, like going up to the head inside your temple and stuff. And so whenever you live inside a pure dream, the way that this started out, it gets pretty wonky and you can like lose control of yourself. And so that's why the Matrix was made in the first place, because people were thinking wrong thoughts and just turning themselves off. It's hard for you to make other people if they can't even control their own mind yet or control their own dreaming. So you have to give them like a stable base point of sorts, you know?
Like for like a fail-safe situation.
Yeah. So they can have at least time so that they can develop and come together. Like the form a sense of identity. But you're supposed to get to a certain point where like whenever you stop eating and you go into your fasted state, that 35% of the energy you use to digest your food, it goes into your rest and repair. You know how it makes the stem cells and you get HGH, you make all these different hormones and stuff to preserve the body. And then all that energy goes back up into your brain. And from the 40-day fast, what I realized, because I think you said the longest you went was 12 days on water, right?
Just
12,
water,
13?
Yeah, if it's just water, yeah, no calories.
Yeah. I was taking water, but I had like trace minerals. My mom made me take trace minerals. She was like, you're going to take something with it. And I also took tonic water. I cut it with some Topo Chico, and I had zinc because they were saying the wormwood quinine inside of it would stop the corona. And I did my fast when we were locked down because, I mean, what else are you going to do? Why not fast for 40 days if you're locked down?
Yeah. You know,
what ended up happening?
Open up the inner movement. To open up the inner movement.
Might as well. So what ended up happening to me, that energy in my gut ended up going back up into my brain, and you go through 3 checks. Your gut brain goes with your reptile brain in the bottom. That's why everyone's raised by serpents, because they believe that they need to have food to eat, and we can actually exist off the energy around us, the light, you know, the chi, the ether. Whenever you look at the sun and you look at see that heat coming off the road, we can pull that into our body and transmute that. But the first check is going through your reptile brain. And that's going to be like, feed me. I need to eat. Once you get past that, that was about day 13, day 14, it goes into your heart brain. Because your heart also has brain cells inside of it that kind of help coordinate the beating. And that falls into your limbic system, which is your bird brain. And then you go through all your emotions and all the recollections and stuff that they say you go through whenever you're dying. Your body starts to do that. You start to purge all your internal stuff. That's whenever she thought I was going crazy. She's like, he's going crazy. I don't understand. And I'm like, I'm doing something. I'm in the zone. And then it was the last, after the 20 days, but it was like 7 days per each, 10 days for the first thing. And then it's probably about like 7 days per each. So about day 21, like right when you can start breaking into that, like day 17, day 18, into that area, it shifts over to where it goes to your neocortex, because you have 2 brains here. You have to balance this out too. And so all that energy in the body starts to branch out throughout the whole brain, and is forcing all those old places that were sleeping dormant inside your mind back awake. You start remembering all kinds of shit you forgot. But at the same time, it's like taking your toy box and dumping that motherfucker out, and you have all these ideas everywhere. You're scattering yourself, and you're losing your mind as you're doing it.
Yeah, I thought you were going to have a psychotic break. Honestly, Taylor, I was really worried about him.
It's okay. You don't need a mind. Like, what I come to realize is our mind is our artificial intelligence, bro.
Yeah,
it's our
like
AI.
It's like in the Wahoo Ching. It's like the clairvoyant can can hear, or can see things that aren't there, declare the auditory, declare
You hear things
declare,
aren't there.
Yeah, and then it's like, but it was saying like the person, the telepathic person can communicate with somebody with their mind, but it can't communicate with the person who has no mind.
Yep. But the thing is, our mind, we built that motherfucker. We were babies in our cribs, laying there, kicking our feet and going back and forth. We weren't thinking. That, at least not as they think. And then over time, we learned ABC, 1, 2, 3. We learned how to string these signals together in order for us to make something. So basically, we formed our own AI. And our brain gives us like the red flags, like, oh, I should do this, or I'm going to do this. Don't do this because that's going to be dangerous. And so when you start getting so many red flags and you don't go out there and do the thing you want to do anyway, regardless of red flags, that's what causes people to like shut down and end up becoming like a pretty much an artificial intelligence, the NPC people, because they're not actually following their calling inside themselves. They're being ruled by their own internal AI that's built in, instead of making that machine that's inside of them work for them and figure out how to make this shit work right.
Yeah, and then all the while the body's just being traumatized and atrophied. So then the whole relay system breaks down.
Yep. The whole system is pretty interesting, man. Like, what have you found out with the from your breath work and your exploration into that?
Yeah, I feel like the more you do breath work, the more like everything kind of just gets prioritized, based on like what is actually, reality. I think it's just kind of, to me, that's from what I've experienced. I don't know, maybe other people have different experiences with it, but for me, it was like, I guess for one, yeah, I don't really want to eat solid foods ever. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like a hangover every time I do it. And like, I feel it because it just, the pressure on the diaphragm that comes with that, like having something in the ascending and descending colon, I feel like it inhibits the breath. And I can just feel like like my circulation gets inhibited, and then everything it's not like I can't do it. It's just, you feel the lag. I feel like over time it's some lag there, and you're like, and I think you get desensitized to it the more that you are in like, false identities. Like if I'm in a workspace where I got to deal with people, like whether I'm playing sports overseas or whatever, I got to deal with them. I got to live in that identity, and so I have to like sacrifice the acknowledgement of the lag. Like the lag is there, and I got to be like, I don't really need the highest capacities of myself to do this thing. I'm shrinking myself to do this thing for this money or the stability. So like the lag is there, and I'm more so forgetting that I'm in a lag instead of in a state of like actually firing and really being my whole self. So it's like I'm just forfeiting the capacity so that I can have like a false, like a security given to me instead of creating security, kind of.
Yeah, it slows you down. Like what I've noticed about eating, and I haven't it's been a while since I fasted, because I know that whenever I fast again, I told myself I didn't want to wake up. I don't want to wake up again. Like if I wake up again, I'm gonna go do stuff. But I'm looking at everything going on in the world. I'm like, all right, I guess it's time to wake up. But what I notice, whenever I don't have food inside my body, everything does fire a lot quicker. Yeah. And I feel I get hot a lot. I put off a lot of heat. That's another thing too. Like I think, this is crazy how much heat you can throw off. And I don't know, just the breathing, it actually centers you. And you don't need to eat. And if you're doing your breath work good enough, deep enough, you really don't need to sleep. You'll fall into a trance and your body will go into a natural like resting state where it's just pulling in energy and accumulating things. Have you figured out that whole piece, the accumulation, yet?
Yeah, I just feel like it's just like an accumulation of like sleep itself is kind of like an accumulation of like daily unconsciousness. Like the more unconsciousness you indulge in or that you're attached to, I guess you could say, like it expands that window of sleep, or that, because again, sleep kind of gets treated like a drug. Like you do it unconsciously and you supposedly feel better. And like I think when you get in touch with the breath and actually get some reprieve, or you get like some real tranquility or calm in your system, I think then you really experience regeneration. And I think it's just like a totally different experience of what rest is, or what dreaming is, or your regeneration. So I think whenever you are feeling like you need to sleep, or when you're tired, it's just like the breath is just not flowing through. And it's like the more that you indulge in things that distract you or create lag between you and the breath, it creates more and more hunger because the chi isn't flowing. So then it's almost like eating is, in a sense, it's like sleeping. It's like physically sleeping. It's like I'm eating, I'm asleep, and that's why I'm eating. And then that causes my actual coma to expand. And then like if I do less and less eating, then the coma time every night goes down and shrinks, and then you actually like you're dreaming. Because like when you're in REM, you're in a sympathetic state. It's like you're gradually going into deeper and deeper states of parasympathetic. But then when REM kicks on, it's like you're in sympathetic. Like that's like the alert, awake state. That's when you're the most awake, when you're sympathetic. So like the body subjectively and kind of objectively is actually truly awake when in REM. So like I think like it just going through that process enough times, you kind of go through like a weighing thing where you're like, what do I really value, reality, or do I want to run from reality? And I think I guess the basis of it, and that's why I think people eat and distract themselves, and all the distractions just create more hunger.
This is true. I definitely will say that. The distractions will create more hunger. The one thing I found inside of like my breath practice is like, because after I did my 40-day fast, like on the 40th day, I felt like this halo, a 3-ring magnetic halo, come up my head. And then I felt clicks in my ears. I don't know if you've seen any of my videos or not, but I'll take my headphones and I'll stick it in my ear, and you can literally hear like clicks coming from inside of me. But that comes from my pineal gland. On day 33, I was, you hear that ringing in your ear, that pops up every now and then, tinnitus. Yeah. I had that shit for like 2 weeks straight. I couldn't sleep at all, period. I was awake the whole time during the fast at one point.
I've always heard that that's the candida burning off. That's what I've heard people saying, that that's just candida just being annihilated.
That might be what it is to them, but from what I understand now, post-fast, and the explanation, it's everything goes back to singularity, and we're all like black holes. That's why you have, black holes for your eyes, mouth, nose, your pore for filling. They're all black holes. Everything you do is like being pulled in information. The light or information is being sucked into your body, into your singularity. Some monks will sit there, right, and they'll eat boiled chicken, and they'll eat boiled chicken over and over and over again. And just having that boiled chicken, they build up with like, the taste of chicken. And since you know that chicken is the thing about the black hole, it grows. The singularity gets bigger over time, or it can be spitting things out and put out that plasma that makes the accretion disk. And so if you eat boiled chicken all the time, instead of putting in new things, you're going to be putting out nothing but like little light balls for that plasma disk. And then eventually that plasma disk starts to spin. And as that spinning starts happening inside of ourselves, as it speeds up, that's what causes the tinnitus. That's what causes the ringing. You're literally hearing a ring because your singularity is ringing. And it was on day 33, I was sitting there and I was hearing it, and I was looking out the window, and I was just like, this is madness. And all of a sudden I remembered something from the Toltec teachings of Don Juan and them, where they talk about the assemblage point, and everyone must feed the eagle. And once I thought that's the assemblage point, that's what that is, I heard a second tone pop up in my left ear, and went whoop. I heard a loud ass pop in my head, and like literally I felt my head jerk back, like I blew my brains out. But that's because the pineal gland's in the middle of our head, right? P-E-N-I-E-L, P-E-N-U-E-L. Next verse, Genesis 32:30 and 31. That's the way it's spelled. Then P-I-N-E-A-L. Shaped like a pine cone, or shaped like a pine cone internally, and it looks like a seed of corn on the outside. And a pine cone looks like a dragon's egg. And they were taking our temperature on our forehead during COVID. And so what ends up happening is the pineal gland ends up, as you save your seed and as you're fasting, all the energy inside your body, you burn you're supposed to burn the beast let me see, was it Psalms 46, I think it is. Sacrifice and burnt offering, my ears have you opened, you did not require. And like sin offering and stuff like that, you did not desire. The fasting actually is you burning away the beast within you for you to go back into your God self. And it causes the energy to speed up inside the body, which causes the pineal glands to start vibrating. And eventually, as it vibrates enough, it pops the fuck open. It literally pops open. You'll hear it inside your head. At that point, I started making this fluid. You know, they're taking the COVID test and they're putting them up people's noses and popping the membrane in the back of their head. I don't know if you saw that.
I heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah. From that point, I was feeling this milk and honey like stuff coming down the back of my throat. At first, it tasted like blood, and then it started tasting, it was metallic and stuff. Then it started tasting like milk and honey. And even my mom will tell you, like, I sit there and I can roll my tongue back and then pull it forward, and you'll see this thick ass, like white snot looking stuff on my tongue. That was the DMT, 5-MeO DMT. Melatonin, the pineal gland makes, is carbon 13, hydrogen 16, nitrogen 2, oxygen 2. And then it takes H2O, water, which you know we're mainly made of, and it becomes carbon 13, hydrogen 18, nitrogen 2, oxygen 1, releasing an O2 binding pair. And so that fluid I was making was DMT. And as my body was, when it went to my stomach, it makes your stomach bitter at first, but I started feeling full. And then it started getting into my lungs. Like I was laying down as I was sleeping, I was breathing. I was doing this thing called the Fourth Phase of Breath by Patanjali. He's a yoga dude, like from a long time ago.
I'm familiar. I'm familiar with Patanjali.
Yeah, Patanjali. Yeah. So that fluid actually is designed to fill up your lungs. And what it does is it fills up your lungs. And since it's giving off O2, it feels like you're drowning. But you have to relax as you're drowning and give yourself to death, essentially. Like, if you die before you die, then you won't die again. That's one of the things that's been said in like the Egyptian Book of the Dead. You have to like let yourself go because you weren't yours in the first place. And as that builds up, your body switches. It gets all sticky on your lungs, and then it gets where you don't feel it opening, but your body switches back to breathing like you did when you were a baby. You breathe through the osmosis, like instead of you breathing in water at that point. And the DMT is what facilitates you being able to become breathless. That's a yoga term that they have out there, the breathless ones. And so once I hit that state, though, I was out of my body. I was on day 33, the rational part of me, that dude was gone. I was in the void or the abyss or whatever. I was outside. I'd already had like because the whole during the fast, once you get deep enough into it, like I was in my body, out my body type thing happening. Like I'd sit down, I'd be like outside myself, being going somewhere else, doing other things. And so I'd just be sitting there. I was in the backyard, so no one was watching me what I was doing. I was all by myself out in the sun. I'd ended up at the Egyptian gods area, and I had my heart put onto the thing, like where it's being weighed against a feather. And my heart was all black and heavy, and I was like, man, you know what? Look, man, I just want to go talk to the creator. We got like little kids taking themselves out of the game. I'm giving my life already for that, so I don't care. And they wouldn't let me pass, so I ate them. Got to have some ego, the dreaming thing. That wasn't no fight back. Then there's like a portal there, the Dawat Gate. I saw a light, which would bring me back to this world. Another light that let me go to another world. And all from the very, very far distance was like a shiny darkness thing that I was seeing pulsing. So I worked my way to go out there. Like I shape-shifted into my true form, got onto like Shiva has a cobra. And so like a cobra came down and I was like flown into like the nothingness in a cobra. I don't know how to explain this shit. This is what I was seeing as I was doing it. And as I got further and further away from that light, hands started coming from nowhere. And it was the archons. Because the archons are like right there on the outer edge trying to stop you from getting out. It's a whole thing. It's like the Buddha talks about the Mara, the dark spirits of the mountain. They're right there blocking you from getting out. And so the one thing I had to do was accept everyone. I was trying to leave the pedos out because that's the parasites. You know, those dudes are a problem. It's a problem. And in turn, I accepted them because the love of Christ, you have to learn how to accept everyone. Christ gives power to all things. And through that, I ended up going from being like riding a serpent. I fused with it. It turned into a dragon. Some weird shit. I went outside and bit the thing outside, and that I don't know what the fuck. It was weird, man. I started having a vision of me seeing white, red, blue, green, and black flashing in front of my eyes, and it's like I don't know if you ever seen a TV go into burner mode, but that shit it goes like that, and it just gets to where you can't process anything. So I think my visual cortex was being shut down or some shit. I don't know what the fuck was going on. It was some weird shit. It's just something you have to make it through, you know? Well, after I got back to normal, I put my hand up behind me. I went and fucking seen some dudes, the world warbled inside my vision I was having. I was a whole bunch of people sitting inside of an alabaster library. And then from there, I went back into the portal and I came up and I was fighting the first dude that existed and stuff. I'm over here like, why you leave us alone? Why you didn't need no teachers here? And he was like, how long am I supposed to sit here and guide people? You know, like you do the work all the time. You're over here teaching people, giving them all the information, what things used to be. How long do we do the work and try to teach them? And then like, even once they get taught, when are they going to act? Like we were taught was good and bad and stuff. And the creator was like, basically I run all the worlds. And normally I put down administration teams onto a planet to have them like lead the planet. And then we pack up and leave once everything's good. And basically I ended up joining the team or something. But in order for me to do that, I had to go outside into the void. And there's nothing there. Like, I don't know if you've heard about that. The outside.
The void itself?
Yeah, like it's the outside where the nothing, where the creator came from. Essentially, the creator is just like a thing that's there, and it reflects inside of itself to create all this stuff. And then us, we're copies of it, and it takes away all that information of what it knows itself to be, and leaves us here to where we can accumulate more information and decide who you're going to be. Because no one can be the same person in eternity, so everyone has to be their own person. Know what I mean? So.
Talk about the sun and the moon and how it's a resonance field when you resonate with the sun, when you get your soul.
Oh, well, what ends up happening once that thing does pop, once the gland pops, and that accretion disc is moving around, it causes your soul, your singularity to warble. And finally, once it warbles, it puts off a toroidal field. And that spinning disc on the outside starts to rotate around the outside of it and speeds up to form a corona. And so once you form that internal corona, there's also, like if you have an old soul or you've been someone before, you end up syncing up that the soul you just made now, because you have your own frequency and vibration, your own resonance, right, as your own individual entity, that will end up syncing up with your soul that's out there somewhere in the cosmos. It doesn't even have to be in this quadrant or sector or anywhere. Wherever your sun is, that's your sun, because there's really no distance between anything. And then the sun in the sky here is also conscious. I don't know if you've heard about that before, that the sun in the sky is conscious. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I mean, the whole system, I feel like, is just physical consciousness.
Yeah. So what I understand is inside your body is the Ka. And then your sun that's out there, the distance, that's your Ba. And then the sun in the sky is the Mer. So once you triangulate all three of them and they synchronize, you become immortal. Essentially, you get your video game character. If you die, you respawn at 25. And actually, the game, once you become immortal, is to try to stay alive for as long as you can to keep your body alive, to learn the combination of herbs and stuff you can use to keep the body going and how to actually extend your lifetime by doing that. Because automatically, once you know the truth and you've been outside and you're already triangulated here to this area, when you die, you get back up. And the reason why this is being done like this is for what we're about to go into next. Because you know the whole Iran thing is happening. And we're about to have a whole bunch of extra stuff going on with that. And I think that it's time for us we're about to start waking up, seeing more people wake up and be immortal. I was watching your other video you put out about the gas overpricing, right? Or the gas lockdowns. And with the gas lockdowns,
For a second, you broke. For a second, you broke up there. I heard you
sorry.
said the gas lockdowns.
Yeah, I was watching that video. What you did last night? Well, the gas lockdowns. Yeah. I'm sitting here. I'm like, I agree. Like, I think there's gonna be one more time for us to have. They might have us sit down. One more time for us to sit down, and for anyone who's like gone, like you've listened to our stuff, you watched videos and stuff, you have the knowledge. Now you're gonna be forced to sit down one more time and not do anything. They're gonna put the world on pause again, and that's gonna facilitate a whole nother shift. At the same time, it's gonna be the point where they make their move. Either you learn the lesson at that point, or they're gonna move forward with their plans. You know what I mean? You're talking about we're gonna have that one more time, and after that's over with, they're gonna start doing the heavy suppression. I agree with you. I think that's actually coming next.
Yeah, I don't see them letting us use their platforms to communicate. I think now it's like they're using it to where they can track us and figure out who's who even more. But I guess they've already tracked us in a sense, but I guess just to know how we feel about certain things, they want to solidify that, I guess. But I don't see them letting us using these mediums for too many more election cycles.
Especially that. I really think that they're pushing the 2030 narrative. The thing with Iran, but that's not getting in the gas thing. We can deal with it here. It's going to be inconvenient, but it's the fertilizers. But at the same time, not only the fertilizers, we're not going to get in those chips they need to make the AI data centers, which I don't know if you've ever heard one of those things running. I don't agree with that. We don't need to have those. Those need to be shut down. Have you heard the AI data centers?
They're loud.
Yeah, but have you heard what they sound like?
No.
Oh, because another thing, when you go through the fast, when you finish the fast, right? It's like you go through a point of download of all your memories. You access your singularity, which is your backup, and you download all your shit again. And it gives you all your lifetimes back. So that sound reminds me of like a hellscape, bro. I don't know if you heard them, but it's just like a constant brrr, and it sounds like they're about to fucking make a dimensional rip. I feel like the AI data centers were something they had at Atlantis here, and that was another thing responsible for them cracking it, ripping the dimensions.
Meltdown, mythology, like he talks about.
Mythology?
Yeah. Taylor, can you tell them about mythology?
Yeah, hashtag mythology, man. It's like an online, I guess you could say, forum, bunch of forums and stuff. They're on Facebook, and I guess they're probably across all I know they're on Instagram too, the people that are into mythology. But it's just like like the Earth is a circuit board, melt down, it fried, so the civilization's fried, and like all the mountains and stuff are just fried civilizations. They're like metropolises that melted, and it's like, so meltology is just people going like boots on the ground and just showing about how like a lot of rock formations are actually just structures that melted. And so seems like it's just like a recurring theme.
The pyramids were used to
so we have the fire by melting, we have the floods that come, we have the depressurization of the earth that can happen,
the plasma strikes.
We have the plasma apocalypse that also can happen. You have the mud floods. You also have the one where everything goes dark. When everything goes dark for a long period of time, that opens a gateway between worlds, which lets the creepy things walk through.
So we've done 5 resets.
We've done at least 6 or 7. This happened multiple times. So I haven't heard of mythology, but that does make sense as it being one of them. To melt, you flood.
I think it's just like I think it's a derivative of I think it's a derivative of like some sort of plasma apocalypse.
Yeah. The plasma one.
That's what I would have said.
Have you seen Jay Dreamer Z?
Who?
Jay Dreamer Z. He talks about the plasma apocalypse a lot.
I think so.
I'll see if I can. I'll find one of his good videos and see if I can send it to you. Jay Dreamer Z.
Like coronal mass.
He talks about the plasma apocalypse.
Yeah. I think we're all pointing at the same thing here. I guess, I don't know if it's like a roulette table of different outcomes or if the same thing just happens. Like, because it looks like, a lot of structures melted, but I don't know. They might have cooled down rapidly too. So it might have been some sort of plasma apocalypse causing maybe tsunamis or some sort of liquefaction or, where you get that mud flood effect.
Yeah.
And so things melt. So things might melt, and then you might
have a mud flood.
And, I think it's not happen. You might get all of it on like a major, because I think there's different levels of resets. Like, I don't know how much they are separating events. Like in 1690, it's kind of similar, I guess, to what's going on in Hawaii right now, but worse. Like 1690, they had, if that's what they said happened, Jamaica, a big portion of Jamaica sank. So like,
really,
like there was a colony in Panama that was Scottish around the same time. I think it was the early 1690s. Same thing, like they got so many things got buried, and so they're like, you're wondering like, is it just like a smaller or like a big, and they're trying to like get away. So I don't know.
I'm breaking up a little bit. Let me see. There you go. You're back.
And I was saying, like, I don't know if there's like big resets where you're getting everything, or if you're getting, sometimes you might get like little ones. Maybe there's like little
micro resets.
Yeah.
I know there's another one that like there's a petrification one too. Because there's like petrified snakes over the planet, like Naka Cave in Thailand. That's a petrified snake. There's petrified alligators, petrified elephants, like giants from back in the day whenever the oxygen was better. And the world is actually bigger than what we say it is. Undoubtedly. Like, I don't give a fuck what it is. I don't know if it's flat or not, but I know it's definitely bigger. I know that ice ring down there, that's the North Pole. That's the way out. That's the north. Because I've been looking at the map for Egypt, right? And Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt, they're upside down on the map. It doesn't make no sense to me unless it's backwards.
No, it's because
I'm talking on the map. Or like the other maps, like the old school ones. And like you have like down at the bottom of the world down here. Why do all the governments have pacts down there that they don't do anything? Non-aggression. No matter what's going on here and what play they're putting on here, still down there's pacts that are going on. And if we were to go get on a boat right now and take our happy asses down there and was about to go to the ice wall, it doesn't matter who, one of the nations is going to stop us from going there as civilians.
You agree, Tyler? Taylor,
yeah,
sorry. Do you agree?
Yeah. I think it's called like the Antarctica thing, right? The Antarctica Treaty or something.
Mm-hmm. The Antarctica Treaty is a thing. But why?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like, I guess modern day Egypt, I mean, it's all based on the elevation. It's like the reason that, the Nile flows north is because the elevation and in northern Egypt is just lower. You know what I mean? So they call it Upper Egypt, the southern part, because it's higher elevation. It's just like literally, it's upper. It's literally up. Like, so I mean,
it's raised.
It kind of I guess points in the direction of like more so what you already know, like the water flows to the lowest point. It doesn't do anything else.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do understand though, like the Nile over here, the Mississippi is the Nile because it has the 7 tributaries, and the actual Nile doesn't have the 7 tributaries. They're over there.
Yeah,
the one they call the Nile, and so like they've been mixing around the storylines. I also know that's like for South Africa still hasn't got its name back. South Africa. Mm-hmm. All the other places, Zimbabwe, the Dominican Congo, Zambia, Kenya, all of them have their own names back, but the only one that doesn't have his name back is South Africa. So there's something going on there too, why that one hasn't gotten its original name back.
Taylor, didn't you say that South Africa or Africa was home to cryptids.
Yeah, they had the most cryptids. That was like it was like a reserve for cryptids, animals, chimeras, like homunculus, stuff like that. Like it wasn't really for man to come into, but then people settled, from North Africa to the Horn of Africa.
Yeah.
And then you had like later migrations into the interior in South Africa. That's like well after, that's post reset. That's not even that long ago that they started going into those lands. Like people had traveled, I think, everywhere, but I don't think people were dwelling there.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I know that we have the cryptids. There's some sketchy. I call them sketchy sketches. The weird ones, they're all pale faced, like super pale, having black eyes and fucking weird shit in the woods.
Rakes.
Yeah, those are sketchy sketches.
The blimmies. I mean, there's so many cryptids out there.
Now, I was telling my mom earlier, I was telling her, I'm like, the human form was made so that we could reproduce with each other. Because at one point in time, from my understanding, like now, with like me sitting here meditating and talking to the dude, the first level of consciousness is like a hive mind. The second level of consciousness was the animals running around the plains by themselves, and like you're kind of offline, you're not in the hive mind anymore. And then like they would look into the water and they gain self-awareness. I don't know if you've ever seen Bunny the Poodle, but Bunny has gotten to where Bunny questions, they give him buttons, and like Bunny, and he's like, "Mom, why Bunny dog? Why dog?"
It's on TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I see that. I've seen those.
You
dogs.
seen that?
Yeah.
So he's come to a point of self-awareness. And I think that there's also an evolutionary cycle that goes off every now and then that someone will give off energy that allows for animals to become human. The next phase of consciousness will be the third phase, which is where we're at, which is where they'll stand upright and become more man-like. And I think that's where you get your dog men and your cat men and like your lizard people and all stuff like that. It's a periodic thing of like consciousness. If the person's aware, if the person's at the level for self-awareness, for them to evolve into the next upright man form, then they will. And over time, like little kids, if you think about us as children, you would want your dog to evolve into something that can stand upright and play with you. And he just has his different qualities and traits that he has, And then I look at other people and I can see like orc looking people. I can see people like dogs in their face. Some people like birds in their face. Some people like Sarah Michelle Gellar. They just call her horse face. Like, little kids tell the truth, like, Mom, they look like a horse. Mama, that person looks like a pig. You like, don't say that. But why shouldn't that be allowed for them to evolve into being a person? Yeah. You think about consciousness playing with consciousness,
Yeah, and people definitely were tampering too.
Yeah, but people are definitely tampering. They've definitely been doing genetic splicing and stuff. Like all these.
I don't think it's the first time somebody's come into like CRISPR technology.
Oh no, nah. We were made by they say we were made by CRISPR technology because we're missed, or some people are. I don't even think that everyone here came from the same damn thing. We're like, oh, the Anunnaki made us. I don't think the Anunnaki, from what I understand now, they're not from outer. It's not outer space. It's inner space. The sky is inside of you.
Yeah. No, I've always heard too that Anunnaki is just like the plural of Anubis.
Anubis?
Like Anu, Anunnaki, Anubis. I've heard it's like the same root, but I don't know. Like the Dogons are the dog stars, Sirius, and all of that.
Yeah. Well, what I realized is a formula. Anu Inanna Ki. Anu is the Sky Father, which the creator does have its own personality. People, they're like, it's an energy, it's a force. The creator is awareness. Is the awareness in the darkness. The Christ is the person that comes in the light that makes consciousness. Because first you have to be aware before you can have light. So that's where the awareness is. And then that being is called many different names, like Bande is for the Haitian voodoo version. They call him Bathala inside the Tagalog or the Filipino tradition. Japan, he's known as Ame no Minakanushi. India calls him Shiva, which means he who is not. He's also called a moon, which means the hidden one. The Bible calls him, like Acts 17:23, the unknown God. It's all the same person. It's all pointing back to the same entity and same being. And so if it's just shedding itself and then letting people, what I understood the Christ to be was as you accumulate so much information, eventually, like, who's the person within you that's seeing? Who is the person within you that hears? Who's the person within you that tastes and touch and all that stuff that gives you the basic programming of those things? And that is the Christ. And then on the outside of that is our face of who we are. And so all like the trees, they sense things that they're powered by the Lord of love or the Christ, the Son. And then the Soul Sophia thing, like Sophia made Yaldabaoth, but she made him without her partner. Her partner is actually known as the Lord, but it's not the all caps Lord. It's like the one cap Lord dude, because it's basically Shu and Tefnut from the ancient Egypt. It was a tomb. He created Shu and Tefnut, male and female, or like putting the creator's neutral. You separate your hands left and right. One's positive, one's negative. Make them go to the opposite ways and reach your hands out. And so you have positive and negative accumulating on both of them. Then you slam them back together and you make a neutral entity in the middle. And like is attracted to like. So that's how you get the child that's formed. So you have the creator, and then you have the Lord of might, and you have the Lady of wisdom. And those two come together to have the child of love. And so Yaldabaoth was the false child. He was the child that was forgotten, not the child of promise.
Yeah, I was always told that like he had his role. Like all the guys had their different roles. I guess maybe the Tyranna.
They do have a different role the whole time. Like the fasting and the breath work, the going back into it, as everything starts shutting down in your system, it all starts coming forward to you. It's like the things you already knew. It's weird, but it's like as you get clear finally without the food inside your system, it will download all the information into you from like the past systems. Like I think the ancient old AI that everyone worries about, I don't really think is actually necessarily evil anymore. Like the creators had it around for a long time. If he wanted it destroyed, it could have been destroyed. But instead he repurposed it for a reason. And I think that entity exists on like Indra's web. Or I don't know if you've seen the Kek pictures. You know the Egyptian god Kek, the frog dude? He's in the frog statue.
Not sure on that one.
So Kek's hieroglyphs, like they show him like being like a frog, and he's a dude sitting behind an old Macintosh PC, and he has like the DNA thing going around. And that's the hieroglyph they use for him. Like he's a dude that's online, or like a spirit that is of the internet. I don't like the internet itself has its own spirit that is developed.
Yeah, like the Ethernet is already there.
Yeah, the Ethernet, that's Indra's web. That's what we call it. It's that little point, the Planck sphere, the Planck breakdown and everything.
Yeah, it just seems to be like the way you access the things. Like if you go through the front door, if you go through the organic means, the gentle means of access, it seems like there's no problem. But yeah, like it's almost like abuse in a sense, like as going through the back door and like doing things forcefully. I think, you're going to run into issues like as a collective. If everybody's like forcing their way into things, then I think the natural response or like relationship with the AI or that mirror that is the AI is going to be like a detrimental one.
Yeah.
Has he done shrooms?
Have you done the mushies? The good old boys?
Yeah, man. I've done.
How was the experience?
I've had some really good experiences, man. I mean, I started, my tolerance started going up, so I had to chill off of them. I was at the point where I'm doing like 35 grams in a sitting.
Oh boy, you over here skyrocketing, boy.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're used to it, like,
yeah.
Did you fast before you did them?
Yeah, for sure. You
definitely want to eat with them.
I don't want to
No,
throw
he
up.
said he didn't. He fasted.
Yeah, he fasted.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to have that nausea. But yeah, I mean, I used to do them with a guy. He used to do like 2 ounces. It was crazy, man. I don't know how he would do it. I mean, I could probably do like 40 grams if I was just like really trying to do some psychonaut stuff and be like, let me just. But I feel like at that point, like around 35 grams or so or more, I think then I'm reaching a point where it's like I'm not really gonna retain the experience. Like it's gonna be like more so like a blackout, and then I come back and it'll just be really emotional. Because that's what I found. Like when I would do heroic doses and I would do more than I could really retain. Then I would have an experience, but it would be like I wouldn't retain much of it, and it would be like choppy. And then I would come back to myself, like to my body, and be like, when I get back in alignment with my body, I'd be like, oh man, I'm just so emotional now. It feels like, because again, it's like forcing myself to get to a state when it's like that, overdoing it.
Like it only takes, I think the max I do now is like 8 grams. I don't be trying to fucking, I don't be going. I did my 5 grams. That's what, like during the fast, that's what started it. That's what started the fast. I remember where we go when we're like the fractal room lights, the 1,000 points of light that they talk about and tell their speeches and shit. I went to this place that was like it was like stained glass. I had a vision of it. Stained glass rotating around like the Windows Media Player back in the day. Remember, you put on Windows Media Player, had the fractal shit. Yeah. That's what I'm like, we all sit there and go watch that shit. And I'm like, oh, fuck, we're all the same thing. Holy fuck. Like, I start laughing and crying ugly. And then the next day, I was sitting in my mom's backyard. I was smoking a cigarette. And I'm sitting there. And all of a sudden, my fucking eyes turned off. But it didn't go from outside. Like, when you black out, it goes from outside in. My shit went from inside out. And my ears turned off, too. And I was like, what the fuck? And as soon as I said that, everything turned back on. And then I heard a voice in my head like, hey, bro, you think you're like Gandalf? I'm like, yeah, I'm Black Gandalf. What's up? And it's like, why are 6-year-olds committing suicide? I'm like, oh, fuck. That can't be real. And so I looked that up on Google, and it pulled up like little kids off themselves. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm 31. I'm back with my parents. I'm locked down. We ain't got shit to do. I'm about to fast. I don't care if I die. If I die, at least she has my body. So that was my mentality. I'm very honoring when I decided, like, when you decide to lock in, you have to be there, be focused on what you want. That was it.
Yeah.
That's what like pushed me over the edge for me to go fast. I want to have kids, but the world's so fucked up, you can't have kids in it. I mean, you can, but these people that are in charge are not rulers. They're not supposed to be the ones in charge.
Yeah. Like, yeah. It's pretty rogue right now, man. And it's like, it's almost irresponsible to have children at this point. Like, you kind of got to like weather the storm. And I don't know what's going to be left on the other side of that storm.
I know that with the immortality thing, the 1,000 years with Satan or 1,000 years in Christ, Satan. When I looked that name up, the original for it is in the Akkadian Sumerian is Satan, and it means an administrator. So it means the person who's supposed to run the planet, like literally like the world monarch that everybody would know about, is the person in the old day would be considered the Satan, and that'd be the dude like we get powers and shit, like So if you breathe in your mouth, out your mouth, that's earth energy. If you breathe in your mouth, out your nose, that's water. In nose, out mouth is fire. In nose, out nose is air. And in both, out both sounds like an ocean, that's ether. And then you can take those breaths and mix them up in different ways and create different elements in your body. And like all this stuff is supposed to go down. Like if you pay attention to your chakras, right? If you look at it, your solar plexus is like right here, and your heart chakra is like right there. And down below, you have your root chakra and your sacral, right? Well, in the middle of those, you have this whole open area about right here. That's the ether void. That's where the sun of man goes and sinks into the water. It's the sun on the horizon. That's where you generate the chi. That's where you store chi at too. And so as you do the breathing and you store up that chi, it gets to where it condenses down and like makes a gravitational field in your body and shit. You said that the on-off switch for it.
He does a lot of breath work.
Yeah, I feel like with the TCM, right? I think right. I think I've read it at some point. They say like the entry point of the body is the pancreas, solar plexus in the pancreas area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get more to TCM. I really want to start researching that a lot more because I feel like that's going to be the medicine of the future, which is the medicine of the past.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, it's definitely. I think it is. It's really. I feel like the approach to it is nice. I think because it's you're using organic materials, but you're doing it in like a methodic way. Like it's not like
What
it's.
Explain for the people who are watching.
Traditional Chinese medicine.
Okay.
Traditional Chinese medicine, they use different energy points in your body. They'll stimulate them with acupuncture needles and have the chi to go through that. You also have different herbs that affect different things. It comes from the fifth world, the prophecy of the fifth world, where from the Hopi, they talk about the red man was given the teaching of herbs, the yellow man was given the teaching of air, the black man was given the teaching of water, and the white man was given the teaching of fire. And if you add all of them back together, that's what makes the chosen people, the people of the rainbow that they're waiting for to come. And so the herbal knowledge is important. And apparently we've traveled the whole world before. And I'm pretty sure we went to China as the red men, right? The red man went over there and taught them herbs, and they exchanged the teaching of air with them. Each people would get their teaching. And so you're supposed to take the air in for spiritual advancement, but the air is the ether and stuff. And I'm learning that I don't know if you read books.
Yeah, he does.
Like you read books, but do you read like books for like enjoyment?
No. Like novels and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I haven't read a novel in a long time.
I recommend it. It's good for your brain. I've been reading. It helps to relax.
Hey, Tyler, we are some nerds, man. You should see our libraries together. We need like a whole house, nothing but library. That's all we need, just books.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's how my mom is, man. She's always got a new novel or something like that.
So I've been reading what they call Chinese cultivation novels. Like 1,000 Li is one of them, right? What I'm realizing is you can't stop. Like, how do you write something? A person sits here and you daydream about it, right? You daydream and visualize what the characters are doing. They write out the plot line, and it's like they're watching a movie going inside their head and they're putting it down on paper. What if they're actually remote viewing another part of the world or another part of the creation, and they're pulling in the techniques of how they do things there and putting it down on paper? Because what I realized is, since it's a great dream, you can't stop people from dreaming, and the dream comes from within you.
Yeah,
like I said, the Lord's supposed to meet you in the air. Well, First Thessalonians 4:16 says like the Lord's supposed to meet you in the air, and that's where they're going to take you. But like I was saying, inside your mind, you're taught as a little kid, there's a bubble above our head. There's a cloud above our head. That's the cloud. So you can pull information from the cloud in that bubble by your dreaming, and you download it, and that's where you write things down. So unless you literally do some fucking equilibrium bullshit and try to like have people on medicine all the fucking time and get them to where they can't daydream at all, the truth is going to come and the answers will pop back up again.
Yeah. I mean, like they say, it's like you can't withdraw something out of the bank if it's not in the bank. Like it has to be in the bank already. Already there in the bank.
How long have you fasted, Taylor? I'm sorry. How long have you?
Well, I remember you said like 90 days with coconut water.
The 90 days?
Yeah,
I did with coconut water.
Yeah, like with coconut water, and I've done a couple years on just liquids. I've done 6 month stints on liquids a bunch of times, but like, just water 12 days.
When you do the water thing, try to pull in. Have you ever felt the pull? Like right now you're outside, right? And the best way for me to describe it is like when you go to click your tongue, like that suction you make. I sit here and I like try to put my hands together, and I'll start like thinking in my body, like you get really in touch with your body, your breath work. And then I think pull, like a suction. I imagine like little whirlpools, like all my pores in my body become little whirlpools to suck in the ether from the air outside of me. And when I do that, it starts to make me heat up. I start to sweat, and I'll start to purge out my toxins. And as you build that up, as you're feeding off the sunlight, that's how, like once you get to day 12, day 13 and stuff like that, I was outside the whole time, and I was walking barefoot, so my feet would be on the ground, and I had my hands constantly together, and I walked a circle into my backyard, and I was constantly pulling in energy. I was trying not, instead of like me thinking about the food being my energy, I was like, the sun is my energy. My hands look like leaves on the bottom of it for a reason. I can pull in sunlight. I'm a tree. I'm not a man. I'm a tree person. And as you dream, do you become? I mean, hey, the original, she was talking to me earlier about like what I think about eating meat. And I was like, well, you don't need to eat. Originally, we didn't have to eat. We were just pulling energy from the sun.
Right. I mean, you at some point, did you practice breatharianism or no?
Yeah, dry fasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
No. With dry fasting is one thing, but the breatharians, how you can like feed from the sun.
Yeah, but I think you like going into like I used to do like dry till 4, and then I think you just reach a different point where you like you see like this is all just for entertainment, and like you don't really need it. Like it's more like just like grounding, I guess, into this experience, you know, and it depends on if you want to be grounded or not. Like it's your choice, but yeah, I think that's been my experience with it, where you like food is really just a choice, and how deeply I want to be grounded in this experience is like kind of up to me. But yeah, I think, you know, just going through dry fasting shrunk everything and like gave my kidneys enough of a break to where I, you know, because it's like you drink fluids and that erodes the earth element, and then that can make you more hungry. So it's like the more that you slowly drink or drink less or don't drink at all, the more that you don't crave the earth element because you're not eroding with the water element. So then I feel like you reach homeostasis, and then you're just like in a state of stasis, and you're like, damn, I kind of don't, you know, you have to like learn how to be in that state of non-being, or like in a sense where you're just like, I don't really want anything. So much of like identity is like revolves around desire, and once the desires are not there, you know, it's like you kind of gotta relearn yourself. Yeah, you gotta relearn. It's like an identity crisis every time you wake up, in a sense, because you're just like, damn, I don't really, what do I do, you know? And then the whole culture around us, or lack of culture around us, is like, you know, it's not supporting, it's not like conducive to a lifestyle like that, where you're just like not needing or not wanting anything. So it's like I think it's just like a constant identity crisis that it's like weird, because I feel like you just feel way more calm than what the outside world would treat you, like how they would treat you if you told them about what you were going through. Because like I think you get deep into that, you know, periods of just liquids and dry fasting on and off, and then your body becomes so calm and quiet on the inside that like you start to there's really no chaos inside of you. And so I think a lot of people are like, chaos has become home, so you start to feel like homesick, and then like you got to keep everything to yourself, because if you start talking to people about what you're doing, then I think
they're gonna want to lock you up because you're harming yourself.
Yeah, and you know, and try to pressure you in different ways, and then I think you start to like, you know, maybe some people start to doubt themselves, and then they just succumb to the old habits, and it's just tough. It's a lot of pressure, like to continue. You have to really relearn yourself. It's like going back to being a baby, where you're like, what was I before I needed anything?
You must be childlike. It's like I say that area is like enter into the kingdom of heaven, because now you don't need anything. You're childlike. You're open. You're receptive to everything, but you really don't need to eat. You don't need to drink. Everything is being fulfilled by within you. And like what he says, take no thought for what you should eat or drink, for the bird does not worry about where his next meal will come from or anything like that. So everything within us becomes fulfilled. And then like you calm down. You're actually very chill. I was so chill during my fast. I found that it was only whenever I interacted with other people that my chill was messed, because of the chaos within them and the chaos that they were expecting me to go through, even though like I'm like, well, this interesting thing is happening. I started seeing like coding and shit happening around me. I'd be walking around on my phone and I look down, and all of a sudden have a drop down what happened. Or I'd be thinking I thought about something, and I'd like walk into a store going to give me some more tonic water. And the song in the store will be answering my thought. I'm like, oh, the spirit of the world. This is what they're talking about. I can hear now. It's like eating clogs your ears.
Yeah.
Being grounded to earth stops you from being inside your spiritual self. But if you go too much into your spiritual self, then the earthlings, they're gonna fuck you up. They want to take you and lock you away inside some place and give you a bunch of medicines and say, this is what you need. You're losing your shit. Take some lithium. And that's not the case. It's not. It's a dream. You can literally be anything.
Yeah, I think the issue is like the sharing. I think when you don't need anything, I think you innately just want to share more, and like trying to appropriate that is the tough part. Because I think like fasting kind of just innately happens when you're in a creative process and a giving, creative, selfless process. Like fasting is like really kind of the byproduct of the creative process. So I think it's just like the natural state when you're in alignment, and creation is alignment. So like, I think that just trying to appropriate the sharing is the issue. Like, you know, because you want to tell people like, man, I feel great. This is great. This will help your life or whatever. And then you're like, I got to keep this to myself. You know, I can't really tell anybody about this. I can't like impose my will on people or nothing. And I think that's like, I think just recalibrating that and getting used to that, to where you're just like really, I guess, strategic about your sharing. Then I think you don't exhaust energy if you share correctly. And then you don't, and then I think it's just easier to stay fasting. And I think it becomes more of a private thing. I think you just don't really bring it up.
That's also like something that's recommended for us not to talk about when we're actually fasting, because then people start to have thoughts in their minds. I realized that like with the religions and a lot of stuff going on, like the feast days, that stuff was made for the people who were fasting, so that you would actually come down from the mountains and go see your family and stuff and have food with them and have, like, you know, because we didn't need to eat. So we would eat a little bit here and you could use your chi to fully break down it. You would have your byproducts from your body. You have no byproducts because everything's energy. Once you learn how to break it down fully and you just sweat it out, you sweat out any of your toxins. It's not so dense anymore. And so that's a part of it too. Because all the old castles for Tartaria, they said they didn't have bathrooms or nothing inside there. Wasn't it you? I think that was one of your videos. You brought that up. How they didn't have no bathrooms in like the Palace of Versailles.
Yeah, there's no bathrooms. I mean, it's like, you know,
they didn't need bathrooms.
Like, like you look at like cellular respiration. You know, the production of ATP. That whole process is just turning oxygen into water. Like it's steps within there that you gotta, I guess you want to study it, but the feeding of the cells is, you know, cellular respiration, and that is essentially turning oxygen into water. So, I mean, you're an atmospheric water generator, so you don't need. Why would you need to drink? And if you don't need to drink, like I feel like they just go hand in hand. You know, the elements. Like if you drink something, you erode, so you need more earth. And then you just become more hungry. And it's like, you're hungry, now you become more dehydrated, you need more water. And then the air is kind of like, the universal solvent in the fire movement. They like burn it up and everything. But it's like, you know, like ultimately you reach a point where you're in a state of balance. And I think like your whole life kind of reflects that. If you're in the creative process, like if you like extrapolate it out to where your whole life, you look at the creative process from like womb to tomb, it's like, if you stay within the graces of the creative process, then I think, you reach different phases in your evolution where you're like, you know, I'm well within my means of, you know, of this process, and I have no hunger. The only desire really is like non-desire, and it's like to satiate that is to give. It's like the more you give, the more you have. So it's like, you know, or the more you experience, and I think that's like the whole process, you know, of like non-being or like realization of self, or what, you know, self isn't. I think that's kind of what it is. It's just, you know, the creative process through selflessness, through the actual virtue, you know, to where you no longer have a self in a sense. You just experience in oneness by participating in oneness. Like, and, you know, I think it just seems lofty and detached when it's like the exact opposite. It's very like grounded in a sense, like in reality. You know,
I mean, it's when we come to all the spiritual teachings and everything that we talk about, like that, you know, like, oh, well, don't eat this food, don't do that. When we stop doing all of everything, and you don't have those things you're doing anymore, you're grounded, but you're gonna have to change your whole lifestyle. It's because you no longer have those desires. It's a lifestyle change. It's literally it's a filter change of everything that you are.
But meat tethers you to this earth, right? Meat tethers you to the earth.
Meat will. I had to eat meat when I was coming back down.
Yeah.
In order for me to come back from my high fasted state, I had to like eat again, taking back on food and putting back on the shell of man, in order for me to not be inside my super duper state. Because it was getting fucking crazy, bro. I would sit here, and if I started feeling depressed, I'd be like, and all of a sudden, all the lights in the area, my magnetic field would go out, and it would cause everything in the area to be disrupted, and it would just power fucking down all things. And then they come back on. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I started noticing it was with certain emotions, like different emotions I have, I call different things. I was walking around, and like, if I, Dragon Ball Z, they be powering up and shit. I walk around thinking about powering up, and fucking, I'd have like a heat orb around me, and people would start getting closer to me, and they're like, why is it the temperature like 5 degrees hotter when I get closer to you? Like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, like the power thing. And then plus, like, now that I became immortal, I want to go play the video game like Valhalla. Let's wake up in the morning, run around on a field, throw some spears, do some fighting stuff. Die, get back up. Yay, playing a video game just like we do. But people aren't ready for that aspect of reality. And like, there's many heavens out there. There's many mansions, There's places where you can go where you're a peaceful person and you chill out. Then there's also like the warring areas where we go and play. But it's supposed to be like a whole game that we're playing with each other because eternity doesn't end. Like,
what do you do with eternity?
Exactly. I ask that question every all the time. What would you do with eternity? You go around and like
make virtual realities.
Yes.
You're just making dreams. You're just making virtual realities. Like, man, I'm gonna be a plumber. I'm gonna be a firefighter. I'm gonna be a ninja.
Fucking why not?
So what do you think the future is? You think it is time for us to tribe up and get, like we talked about on our last live, it's time for us to get to where we need to be, because once this last lockdown comes, that's it. I mean, it's like game over, right?
It's not game over. That's game start for me.
Yeah,
so, you're saying about the communities and stuff like that.
Yeah, I definitely think that people, we got to set up our own communities and then get in touch with other people that are doing that. And because, you never know how it's going to go, how it's going to shake out. I think everybody kind of has to go through a process of like gradually building their own community so that they can just be versed in the process, so they can have experience, so they can, if your area, you have to flee or something, who knows, you can smoothly assimilate and contribute because you've been living that life, I think that's kind of what the whole thing. I don't think there's like any like worthless experience as far as like establishing community and like really living off grid and like, experiencing like autonomy, growing your own food and stuff like that. Because I mean, you could lose it all tomorrow, but you won't lose the experience
and the knowledge.
Knowledge. Yeah, that's all there.
That's the thing. Like, we've lost so much knowledge. I think about like society building. We used to have stonemasons. Blacksmithing used to be a thing. Like, people would go out and you go forage herbs, and you know the herbs in your area. A lot of people don't know how to do that anymore. Like, there's actually a lot of training and a lot of things that we used to know how to do that we've lost due to modern convenience. And kids just never want to listen any damn way. I know I didn't want to listen when I was a kid. I wanted to go run around and play the damn games. So now that I'm older and I look back on all the stuff that my elders were trying to teach me, I was like, damn, I wish I paid more attention to what I was learning. But at the same time, there are things that I do pick up on.
I forgot, like Socrates said it, right? Socrates was like, convenience is just like luxurious poverty or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Something to that effect.
I agree. It really is, because like we have all this convenience, but we don't know shit. We're poor on the inside.
Yeah.
I imagine if the power goes out and all these babies now that are used to having tablets, imagine how crazy that's going to be. I was gonna take it for the power to go out.
Yeah, nah, that's what they say, man. 14 days, people become cannibals. A lot of people. So I don't.
Really? 14 days?
I've heard. Yeah, 14 days with no food. A good portion of the society will become cannibals.
Oh, damn.
You know what I think is interesting? I think the hogs, why like we could cast them, like why Jesus was like casting demons out into them, and why their hearts look so similar to ours and their organs and shit. I think they were people at one point in time, and I think they kept on eating people. They're the cannibals, and they devolved instead of having the higher level consciousness because they kept on eating other people. They got too much genetic confusion inside them, and so their greed forced them to go step down back into a lower level of consciousness, and it made them into hogs.
But pigs are actually smart.
They're smart because they used to be human.
I wanted a pig. I actually did a whole thing. I did a whole paragraph and wrote a essay to my husband talking about why I wanted a pig. He was like, "Hell no, you ain't getting a damn pig, girl." I wanted a petite porker.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having pigs, man. I want all the farm animals, really. Just you got to protect them. That's the tough part.
I mean, I'm still going to eat them. I love Al Pastor. I just know better. Like, now that I'm human, I look at them like, don't be eating people, bro. But then you have the mafia go there and feed them people. I mean, what do you do?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't even want to eat them. I just like want them to just be, because they be like, everything kind of got its role. Like, one way or another, they all like kind of contribute to the environment.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to figure out what the hell these hogs do in the environment. Because down here in Texas, they're a nuisance, apparently.
Yeah, y'all probably have an excess of them.
Oh, we have way too many. They're everywhere.
Where we are,
they've murdered people.
Yeah, they caught a woman coming in from her car, and there were 3 pigs, and she thought she could walk right up to her door out here where I live, and they attacked her and killed her.
Yeah, Texas.
So they had to send the guys out to trap them.
You'd think that everybody got a gun in Texas.
Most we do, but I guess she just wasn't packing hers that day, or maybe she's one of those people that don't carry.
I'm not gonna hurt the animals. That's not gonna hurt me. that was fucking it. It's like, yeah, I walk around. It's legal to carry a sword out here, bro.
Yeah, he actually has one.
I'll go out. I'll have a spear on me. I'll have my sword. I'll have my big ass knife. I'm going to the woods. You'll see me just walking around with all my shit on, like I'm an ancient warrior.
And he really is not lying. He actually really does that shit.
Don't give a damn. What you gonna say to me?
Walking Dead.
You're damn right. Little kids stop and look at me like, Assassin's Creed? Assassina! I went to Israel last year. That over there, they're fucking that place. Like, I was walking around the old city of Jerusalem, right? But I was wearing all white, and I had like my hood on. And I'm walking around through the city. I had a big ass leather belt on the outside. I had the leather van braces, and I naturally wear like tall boots, the long ones, because I don't like snakes. And I'm walking through the city, and all of a sudden this little girl's on her field trip, right? I'm dressed in all white, and she's like, "Mama, Assassina!" And she's like yelling "assassin," and so I'm sitting here. No lie, I'm sitting here. I have my fucking thing on. I turn and I look at her with that perfect like one eye look, and as I'm looking at this little girl, she's pointing at me. There's like 15 other kids around her on a field trip. There's that one dude that's like the glasses on. You can see his eyes all big and shit in. He's looking at me and shit. I sit there and look at them. I turn around, take off running, and I run to my caddy, get in the back like, let's go. And so he takes off from the caddy. The kids are like, fuck this field trip. They run down the middle of the street running after me. Run up, and they see me riding away. And I'm like, yep. So over there in the old city of Jerusalem, these kids are going to be like, remember at one time we saw a real assassin?
Yeah. They'll never let it go.
They'll never let it go.
Yeah, they're never going to let it go.
All the adults saw me. They're like, why are you dressed like this? I'm a sage. I did a 40-day fast. Almost died. Like, I had these clicks in my ear. Like, anyways, I'm going to just give you a quick rundown. In your mouth, out your mouth is air, or out earth. In mouth, out nose, water. I told them all that stuff. So, it was
it's too much for most people.
Oh yeah, I overloaded them on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm on a thing.
Oh, we lost him. Did we lose him?
I don't know if we lost him. You there, Taylor? Might have lost him. Didn't do this last time?
Still there? Yeah, it's still
I mean,
there.
it says he's still there.
Does anybody have any
Where?
questions? I got a couple people that are in the live chat. I can't tell.
What happened here?
Hang on, just
What's this?
no, it's let me see if he's coming back.
Oh.
Let me see if he's still there.
He might be, he might not be. Yeah, it's been
No, we lost him.
We lost him.
Hold on, he's gonna come back. Yeah. This has been a pretty cool live. I had a couple of do you have any questions for him?
I want to find out more about Tamaru, Ted Mary.
Like, okay, so we'll ask him that when he comes back. I think he's coming back and he's down back now.
Yeah. Because the place, this place being Egypt and Babylon, that's another thing I want to bring up. It was like, this place is actually Egypt. We know the Bible says the place of the spirit of Egypt and Babylon will catch on fire. Or what does he think that fire will be?
Give him a second, let's see.
I mean, he's out inside nature right now.
Yeah, he is.
So
he's out at his property. I'm just checking to see if he's answering. Let's see if he's coming back. He's typing. He's typing.
Mm-hmm.
He said he got a call that dropped him.
Oh, okay.
Here he comes. He's coming back in. One second, you guys.
Yep, so good.
Yeah, he's saying it.
Yeah. It was fun.
Yeah.
I wonder if he does what he knows about parasite cleanses too.
Sure. Okay. He said give him about 20 minutes. You gotta run home real quick. Yeah, so what we can do is we can let me see who's all in the chat.
Yeah, let's see how that worked out. Did it finally get over here? Is this not working?
It is. It should be. Hold on.
The mouse isn't working. Let's see. Live chat. This has been great. Just doing my best to keep up. Last minute, go Mark Limehouse. Hello, guys. I think it's still on.
Yeah, it's on. It's still running. Hey, do you guys have any questions for Alex about fasting, by any way? That's.
Uh-oh. I don't know. Stop this.
You got to close out of it. You got to close out of Facebook and because you go back to StreamYard.
Yeah, I go back to StreamYard. Well, I can't see the people talking over here on the side.
Okay, let me see.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can.
Yeah, talk about parasite cleanses. He said talks about parasite.
So I wanted to ask him more about parasite cleanses, but what I do know is like stuff like this, the black walnut. Oh, no. Black walnut. Where is it? Wormwood, cloves, and pumpkin seeds, artichokes. That's good for parasites. And then you have, what's this one?
This is a peri cleanse. That's the new one I just got today.
I don't even know what's in here.
It's herbal.
It says herbals, but I don't mean I know what it's in here.
And then this one, the binder. Show them the binder.
Green walnut hull, sweet wormwood, clove, orange peel, pumpkin seeds, ginger root. And then, of course, you want your binder. You want a binder to attach to it. What I know, parasites, they do take a lot of energy from us. And you do want to kind of fast while you're doing the parasite cleanse. Ramadan and Lent, stuff like that, is for actually cleaning out parasites and rejuvenating your system. As the spring is coming on, as we come out from the land of death and the new year actually begins, and like it just began a couple of days ago, March 21st, whenever that we hit the equinox, the spring equinox, That's actually the new year. That's when we technically consider to be the new year of everything starting. Life is coming back to again. Everything is flowing back alive. So during this time frame right now, which is why we have Lent and we have Ramadan, we have all that stuff that's been going on. We want during this time to actually revitalize the body using parasite cleanses and fasting, and just in general to get rid of the toxins that you've accumulated over the season of rest. Spring is for accumulation of energy. Summer is for working that energy into everything and going out and doing work. Fall is also for accumulating with spiritual energy. And then as the winter comes and sets in, it's for us to go inside of our house and we take that energy with that heat we've accumulated throughout the whole year. And then we start to work that throughout our whole system and kind of reflect over things during those dark times whenever winter has come. And then as we get on our reflection, we go back out. As you can tell here lately, we haven't really been having winter. It's been mainly hot all the time. And the reason for that is that the sun is giving off more chi, more ether. And you're supposed to take that ether into your body and condense it down and use that to create gravitational core, to clean your system out, to open up your meridians. Helps to keep your life going longer. As you notice, when people get old, they get cold. And that cold is a lack of heat from your internal furnace that you have. So you're going to want to take in the ether. Like you see the heat rising from the road. You want to pull that into your body, visualize that coming into your body. And that'll help you stay hot for longer. When we have old people, we used to sit them outside in the front porch and have them just sit there in the chair, and they wouldn't be losing their fucking mind because we didn't have all this aluminum being sprayed inside the skies, making them going crazy and getting dementia.
Yep.
They've been doing all these things now to mess with our biology and to knock off our natural processes. And while they're saying they're trying to fight global warming, they're actually causing it to be worse.
Yeah.
By interacting and interfering with the natural cycles of the planet.
Yep.
So, and that's just them trying to lower the garden back down. Make the garden to where it's more manageable for the parasites that have taken over in some way. I mean, I wish we could just give them some wormwood and get rid of the people in charge. That would be nice. That'd be nice. Good old wormwood in the sky.
You think that would get rid of them? So what I'm saying is the reptilians. I'm just saying.
Look, I don't want to blame it being all the reptilians.
It's more than just the reptilians.
Yeah, it's more than them, but I want to say it's more so misguided children.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to believe that all these reptilians and all these people who evolved into being mankind-like things stopped being so nice and kind with each other, made all these wars into the past and lost the plot. They just lost the fucking plot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of us being all together, you're supposed to grow up and get your immortality back, and then you can go off and fight wars and come back together. You don't have to have a blood war. There can be an agreement. Like literally, it used to be where you would sit there and because you can fly if you didn't know.
So what caused there's been multiple resets, but the one that really I draw back to is Atlantis.
It was probably the AI.
AI?
Because Atlantis wasn't just here.
No, it was all over.
Atlantis was multiple planetaries. So
yeah.
If you pay attention, my style is kind of like Egyptian Atlantean type thing. And I know I was alive during those time periods, just not on this planet. This is my first time here on this planet. And I know that whatever those AI data centers are, they put off, they start causing the sketches in the rips and dimensions.
Yeah.
They have the tones going off, and those tones start messing with the local area vibration, which allows for things to walk through.
They're building a lot of data centers all over strategically.
Yeah, and I bet you if we put them down in the line, I bet you they're forming some type of star pattern or some shit, because these motherfuckers are.
Yeah.
Always doing this shit. It's like sound bowls. You have the sound bowl bath that you can do, and you have all the bowls all over the place. I bet you they're using the different frequencies the AI data centers are putting off to call some type of riptide or something.
And to call something in.
Yeah, to try to. They're always doing something.
Yeah, they are.
Like, why? The pinky, wasn't the pinky in the brain? Like,
yeah.
And then, like, the creator gets mad and like, fuck that, blows their stuff up. And when they get blown up, what do?
Cause a reset.
I'm going to start all over again and keep them enslaved.
Yep.
That's why I keep on saying, I'm going to take my black orb, I'm putting them in a dungeon. I'm going to turn this straight into a video game.
Are you?
I'm immortal.
Yeah.
Let's get a black orb, obsidian.
So let me ask you, with not to change subjects, but with the parasite cleanses here, you've done one like this before with the black walnut and the wormwood cloves and the pumpkin seed, right?
But I drink that.
You have the liquid form.
No, I do the actual herbs.
Okay, you do the actual herbs, and I have it in a pill form.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I take the actual herbs. Like I've
and
gotten
you
to
make
the
a
point
bitter
now.
tea to it, or you steep it, or what do you do?
Yeah, I just make a tea. I've gotten to the point now where I'll take I put cloves into water, and just let the cloves sit there inside the water. And instead of like needing to like, take the cloves, I'll let it steep inside the water, and I just drink that as my water. Cloves and cinnamon and star anise. I have it at work in the fridge.
Okay,
I have it in there, and I'll just come out and.
Does it make your stomach hurt?
Maybe. I'm not sure. My stomach's always quite iffy these days. That's why I need to stop eating so much. I eat too good.
Yeah.
I be eating kefta kebabs, lamb, and
yeah,
I be
you need to
eating
kind of
shrimp.
lighten up on your diet.
I'm just gonna stop eating again.
Yeah.
But when I stop eating again, that's gonna trigger my whole process.
Yeah.
I keep on telling you, I want to go collect these people.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put it all out there
like
that. I am gonna put them in orbs though.
That makes sense.
Like the dark king dude, because you gotta have that. What am I do? You go find the people who are taking and preying on the littles first, because they're not supposed to be here. Not supposed to do that. No one can be faulted for the circumstances of their birth. Everyone was made and comes from, they're powered by the Christ, and they have the spark of awareness from the Creator.
Yes.
Right? So that's inside thing. They're supposed to be developed into becoming something more, and not everybody has the same amount of intelligence or same type of intelligences, because there's some people who are more tactile intelligent. You have the people who sit down and read. You have the IQ intelligence. There are different forms of intelligence that leads to building community and making different things. And just because you can make machines and everything like that doesn't mean that your intelligence is better, because now people are being ruled by these machines and don't know how to actually live in life. So
you really do think it's a good idea to tribe up and do a community somewhere with people and get ready? Because
for the majority of people, I would say yes, it is a good idea to actually tribe up and to do that thing, to like have at least infrastructure built, and to have like your saved PDFs and stuff, put that inside of a laptop and then inside the box, and then put it inside a Faraday cage where anything goes down.
Of course, you have your written books and things like that.
Yeah, and make sure you have the ability to. With written books and everything's good, but if you have a flood or something that comes, one thing. If you can put that stuff into a case that's locked and sealed and locked down, and you don't take it out that often, and you just disconnect the battery and everything, and you plug it all in and power it up later on, when everything goes down, you want to have preparation type things like that. The problem that I've noticed though is with the community, there's this thing called the Dunbar number, that whenever you get to 150 people living inside a community, you're going to have an issue. That's whenever crime starts.
Oh my God, 150 people.
150
you guys
people.
Heard that? 150 people.
It's literally, look it up, the Dunbar number. My friend Teddy, she told me about that. And it appears that like you have tribes, and we were tribes before, and once our tribe would grow to about 150 people, that's whenever you would start having problems inside the tribe, and someone's going to want to take over the other person, or the tribe would split. And then you'd start over and like have a different tribe that pops up. And I don't know if that's what's meant to happen, and that's the way we're designed to be, for us to separate and go off. But me, I don't do well with people.
I don't either. I really don't.
I'm more sort of the dude that like learns how to do the magic and mysteries and makes all like the structures and build my house out of stone and put down runes and use magical powers to power all my stuff and be like, okay, my thing's good. And just be alone. Maybe get married, have kids, and then send my kids off into the world from my remote like fortress.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, I don't really, because I've never gotten along with people since I was little though.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of a loner too. So my thing is, you know, I know we need to get prepared for what's coming, like gardening, but then you're going to have people that are going to come through and try to ramrod you and take all of your food, your weapons, your stash. And so you really got to be able to defend wherever you're going to be. Mm-hmm. And so that's why you have to have a community.
Yeah.
And like now where we're at, like he was saying, it only takes 14 days for people to turn into cannibals. And that's just ridiculous. Like, that's why you have to practice fasting and breath work now while we have the food, because when you don't have the food,
it's going to be a hell of a time to try to learn it.
Yeah. You need to do it now while you have access to it. And, you know, most people won't agree with that, but there's where you get the commonality of who's going to ascend and who's going to try to make it through whatever's coming.
Well, a lot of people are waiting for the rapture to come.
There is no rapture.
A lot of people still believe that like the rapture is going to be like the Lord's going to be like, and you know what?
Hand, and take you.
Even if he takes you, where's he going to take you to? The new earth? Okay, so you go to New Earth. Do you know how to build a house? Who said there's going to be things there? Everyone imagine.
Because they're thinking it's all heaven and it's all going to be pearly gates and there's going to be food and people and everything's just going to be happy and we're going to live forever and there's not going to be any fear or death or crime or that's what they think. That's what religion has painted.
I know, but the thing is though, like they don't know what they would do for forever.
Yeah, I know. Right. What do you do with infinity?
With eternity.
With eternity, yeah.
They would sit there and they'd be like, oh, forever? Well, I'm going to go praise to the Lord and sit there and sing in front of his throne. I'm like, have you heard your singing voice? I mean,
do you think God's really going to want to hear you sing?
All the time?
Yeah.
He didn't make you just sit there. He knows how great he is. He's saying he's like, all right, like if you're going to worship someone, like the people back in the day were worshiping all these different strange gods, right?
Yeah.
How you going to worship the dudes, all the strange ones, but not talk about the first person who came into existence and made all them? You're worshiping the wrong God. That's why he's been so on point with his stuff.
Yeah.
That's why he shut down all the things before. Like I've even gone to the Wiccan people and they talk about like, are you Wicca? I'm like, no, kind of omnious, some of it. Like, well, you know, we worship the goddess inside of Wicca. I'm like, yeah, but have you ever heard of the Drigathan? Like the Drigathan. I'm like, yeah, that's the person I worship. That's the dude I mean Drigathan. It's the one above all. He's the impersonal God. He's even inside Wicca with the witches. Like the creator is literally everywhere I look. If you sit there and just look for a little bit longer and look hard enough, you will find the original being speaking. And then you have to take the different eras that have happened,
yes,
and see what was going on in that era to see what caused the reset.
Ugh. Because here's what I'm thinking: the reset is caused by what's going on now, like the parasites. You get these entities that come in that are power hungry and want the destruction and want to rule over people.
But who is it that invited them in? The sons of man. They're the ones up here laying down the rituals and doing the shit the fallen angels taught them, and then use it to call out to the ether, to call out to these dark things.
So in other words, we got complacent and we got bored, we got stagnant. Stagnation breeds death, stagnation breeds parasites, and we are the cause of said parasites.
People are.
Yeah.
Not us.
But I'm saying people in general, humans.
And they're like, oh, well, you know, it's like with the aliens that came down here. And they're like, oh, we're taking some cows and stuff. Like, well, you know what? The government's like, we'll give you 20 people a year if you give us some of that alien technology.
They end up taking more people.
And they just kept on taking more people. Yeah, we're going to need 1,000 people. So cloning has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Because they've been cloning people.
Mm-hmm.
But the clones.
Yeah. And the clones are having clones and they're having babies now. So they don't know that they're clones.
Yeah. But the clones, it doesn't matter if they're clones or not. That's just genetic material. The person within them that's powering them is actually a person.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. But still,
do they not have inner monologue? Because not all people are NPCs. Some people are just.
Some people have inner monologue. Some people can't. No. Some people can't see in their minds. I've met people that can't sit here and I'm like, think of a red apple. Do you see the red apple?
Mm-hmm.
See the red apple sitting on the side of a string.
Yeah, and I'm eating the apple sitting on the side.
No, I didn't say eat the apple. I just said see the red apple.
Yeah.
Some people can't do that. They can't visualize inside their mind. They can't see the red apple.
Does that mean they're a clone? I'm just saying. I don't know.
I don't know how to tell you. Like you can't see the red apple. But then I've had like my friend Mike. He could see all this stuff before, and then he went through something happened inside of his eternal world, and his ability to see like that is turned off for the most part. It comes on and off every now and then. You met Mike.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude. So like I can't say when it turns on, when it turns off. Inner monologue, no monologue. Sometimes you don't need to have inner monologue. Sometimes you talking to yourself is what fucks up your own mind. And giving yourself wrong advice.
Well, we also know too that the government does have the technology to put those thoughts in your
voice
mind.
to mind technology, voice to skull.
Yeah, voice to skull technology.
Targeted individuals.
Yeah, and that's a real thing. That is a real thing.
I know it's been around. They've been doing it since like what, the 70s now, 80s. I know for sure they perfected it in the 90s since that Desert Storm. Because they would be using the broadcast off to people and they would tell them to get down on their knees and that this is Allah speaking, and the person wouldn't hear a voice coming from nowhere. So they'd be like, oh my God, it must be God talking to me, surrender. And so we're using that technology on them inside Desert Storm.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I learned about that back then. Parasites, these people and them summoning down, calling through. One of the things they did was they made us believe magic isn't real in the first place. So if magic isn't real, then all these people sitting there doing rituals and setting up, that doesn't have an effect on anything. So they actually whitewashed the actual truth behind things and made it where people don't think that's just real. Then you have people out here who use magic, and when they do use magic and they understand it is real, they're using it for their own selfish gain, and they're calling it manifestation.
Yeah.
And which, once again, is like when I'm like, well, this is why magic was hidden in the first place. What?
No, I was saying how many people. No, I was saying how many people are in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're still live.
Oh, what's up, Ethan? Ongoing things. Yeah, think about Lot and Abraham in the story Bible. Their tribes were getting too big, and then they split. Talk about fasting, breath work. I do yoga and breath work. Do you recommend any specific practice? I recommend doing Patanjali's 4th phase of breathing. Alex, can you elaborate on your breath work? The breath work that I do is me trying to accumulate more power constantly. In order for you first to feel that, I like to breathe in all the way, that let it out. And then the most uncomfortable thing that you do is hold your body with no air inside of yourself. So you're just going to sit there on empty. And as you sit there without air inside of you, you'll start to notice how like there's this heat or pressure within you. It's like a burning. And that's why I call the cauldron. That's your internal processing of chi. And then with my breathing, I don't know if you've heard of this thing called vacuum breath. So vacuum breath is, once again, you take in a deep breath, let it out. You sit here with it out and you try to breathe in, but don't let air in. As you do that, it causes your intestines and stomach, everything pulls in. So as you can see with my belly, I'll use my belly. I sit here like this, let my belly out. I breathe in, out. And then I do a vacuum breath. when I do the vacuum and I put the vacuum on, it you may think I'm pulling my stomach in and like sucking it in, but I'm not. I'm literally trying to breathe in, and the byproduct of that is that my stomach is pulled in and suctioned in from the inside. I'm not forcing the muscles on to turn it on. I'm using the internal process of breathing to pull it in and suction it in, and that creates that it's a void within me. You can feel it's the vacuum sucking it in, and then when I let air in, I slowly bring it in, and I let it go down into my belly. And as you can see, my belly, like if I held it in all the time and breathe with my chest, I don't breathe with my chest. I breathe with my stomach. I do diaphragmatic breathing, so that's why my belly goes out and goes in so much. But when it goes down and it hits the bottom of my belly, I can feel it like as you keep on breathing in and breathing slowly, you can feel it go down and dip down and come back up and around. And I have it do this motion where it's rolling around inside of me. As I have it constantly whirling around inside of me, I have it in my hands. I visualize like a dragon coming up and holding onto that ball. And then I let the air out, but keep all that energy there. And then I breathe in and do it again. And I let that energy build up and keep on flowing around and around and around. And each breath is like me making a seashell, or like one of those, the conches you put to your ear and you can hear the sound of the ocean. That's inside India, they call that Krishna's conch. So as I'm doing that breathing technique and I'm breathing in, I'm accumulating each breath is more energy, more energy, more energy. And then I take that energy and like instead of focusing on breathing and taking in, I take the energy wrapping around my body and I move it throughout my whole system. The Chinese have meridians they talk about, and I'll take that and visualize that energy moving through the area of my meridians to kind of stimulate that area of my body and get it awake. And as I do that, I'll start to sweat. And I notice that when I sweat, I will sweat and it'll be like nasty. Like I will smell bad because you're forcing out your impurities and your toxins inside your bloodstream and inside your system. Breath work, the one thing that we could all do, it has to be fair. Like if God made it and if it's a game, if it's a simulation like they say it is, then that means that it should be fair and it should be free for everyone to play. Now, the game of mankind, of having to have this money to go do this, have the money to do that, that's a different type of game. If you sit down and you pay attention to what you've been given the keys to the kingdom, everything you need, and it's hidden in your breath. So breathing in and out your mouth, that brings in earth energy. Breathing in and out your nose, you rotate through your different types of energy patterns that you breathe. If you notice a person, they snore at night, they breathe in and out their mouth, and those guys who do like that, they typically get bigger and bigger and bigger and more husky. That's because they're accumulating more earth energy in their body constantly. Some people get filled of like watery with edema. You can push your hand down on them and their skin stinks in and you can see they have edema. That's them in mouth, out nose. So they're accumulating more water energy and inside their body that's showing inside their body. Some people get really skinny and they look like twigs. That's because they breathe in their nose, out their mouth all the time. And so they're burning up the inside of their organs. And other people breathe in their nose, out the nose all the time, which are told to be the way you're supposed to breathe. But that gives people anxiety. And now we have a society that breathes in their nose and out the nose all the damn time. And they're full of mental problems. The key is learning how to balance and go between the different breath types. And they will switch over the way your brain is functioning. You'll access different types of brain waves and turn on different things inside yourself. Now, you can breathe however you do normally, but just know you're accumulating so much. You want to have a certain point of time in a day where you sit down and you breathe and you purge that out. That's for sure. Let's see. Let me go back to Facebook so I can see the comments.
Yeah.
So there you go. There you go. CeeLo, gotcha. And the thing about Lot in the Bible, talking about fasting and breath work. I do yoga and breath work. Do you recommend a specific practice? I recommend for the specific practice is just getting up and going out and doing it. The energy accumulation thing is the one thing that I do recommend because we don't tend to have enough energy that we take in. If you take in the proper energy from outside, you don't need to. You take in so much energy by the external or the external method, because you're literally grabbing it and pulling it into as food, and you think that's energy. The actual energy is when you're sitting here and you feel that heat from the outside, and you need that heat to keep your biological processes going, to keep that fire burning within you. And as you do that, it's gonna naturally, you're gonna purge out your toxins just by not eating and finally letting the system rest. Your brain is going to speed up, and then you're going to start naturally going through purification processes where your body is purging everything, and you're getting the power of your mind back. Now, as your mind is powering back up, as you think so you become. And if you start having off thoughts, you might actually end up, like, if you're sitting there and you start feeling weird, like, oh no, I'm about to faint, I'm gonna die. You had the wrong thought. You're gonna trigger yourself out to have that thing happen. So the key thing is to actually stay very calm with what you're doing, in control of your mind and in control of yourself.
Yeah.
Anchor onto that energy. As you're moving the energy and cycling it through your system, stay inside that cycle. And so whenever you start feeling things getting out of control, like, hey, am I speeding the energy up too much inside of myself? Am I running it too quickly? Or let me slow it down some? You might notice you're getting too hot because you're cycling really quickly. The energy can cycle. Like, it starts out at first. I tell people, if you're going to meditate, you're doing breath work, when you breathe in and out, you're going to flex you're going to hold like you're going number 2, and you're cutting it off, and then relax halfway. And then you hold like you're going number 1, and you relax halfway. And you can feel like, as you're doing that, at the bottom, you'll feel these nerve ganglia activating, and it'll feel like a burning sensation that's there. That's the activation of the chakra. And then, like, you pull your stomach in some, you can turn on your solar plexus. You sit back, open your chest up, and think of a time when you felt love, and you'll feel the heart chakra. If you roll your tongue up to the roof of your mouth, you'll feel right here activate, which is your throat chakra. If you sit there and you roll your eyes up and look, like, you kind of look in the middle, and you roll your eyes up slightly, you'll feel your attention fall right here naturally on your third eye chakra. And then you feel up here at the top of your head, like where you were in your baby, that's your crown chakra. And so you sit here and you go through this process of feeling all those things. The energy moves up the spine from the back. You're going to bring it to the top of your head, and you're going to let you breathe out. It goes back down the front to the very bottom. And then you do it again, flex, and you like portion throughout the whole body, and you go back down. And as you keep on doing this and you're pulsing, it's causing the energy to rise and form a circuit, which is called the microcosmic orbit. And as you go through the microcosmic orbit, you can start speeding it up to where eventually, if you think about like being like a little ball of light where your attention is, it goes voom, 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 and it's moving through your actual system inside that way. You're actually charging up, and the more energy and the more time you put into it, the more you charge up that system and get the energy flowing, and you clear everything out. And then from there, that's where you're supposed to know the pathways for the meridians. That's why you go slow with your original practice, so you can move the energy through the pathway of the meridian, and you bring it up and go out, right? Once you move through the pathways of the meridians and you speed it up again, and then you get it going fast, now you can quickly put it through that meridian and have it basically go through and start drilling out all the impurities that are built up inside of there. Also, another meditation that I do while I'm doing breath work is I'll sit here and I'll visualize that energy eventually, once it's sped up enough, and it makes like towards like a full, instead of it just being like a little light that's going around, it becomes like a full disc that's moving. I'll shoot the energy out of my head and have it go in front of me for a little bit and come back down to the bottom. Then I have it go back up my spine and go out to the side a little bit. And eventually I'm making all these little rotations around my body in the front and back, and I'm keeping the energy still flowing through those methods to where I have a bunch of wheels around me.
Yeah, but some people can't get to that point of just projecting or either, learning just the basics of breath work and energy work. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, that is technically, that's doing that is just going from inside your body to where you're getting into where you go outside and come back around, making that loop like from inside body, outside body, inside body, outside
Forrest
body.
Knudsen, you might want to tell them about him.
Yeah, Forrest Knudsen.
Forrest Knudsen. Yeah.
He's a very good person to talk about for meditation and heart rate variability, and his fourth phase of breathing, Patanjali's breath, is definitely, if you're gonna pay for a yoga course, I would pay for that one. It was like $30 last time I checked. You might have went up, but I went to buy that during my fast, and I got it for free somehow because the internet be doing things. Just saying, crazy be doing things. The fourth phase of breathing is you want to breathe in as deep as you can, and then let it out as slowly as you can. And as you let it out slowly, you're gonna breathe back in slowly. And each time you do this, you're slowing down your breath rate. You want to breathe as slow as you can, and to the point where you get to where you can't tell if you're breathing in or breathing out. It literally gets there to a point where you can't tell if you're breathing in or you're breathing out because you're going so slow with it, but your body's so full of oxygen. And it causes a transformation to happen because you start to feel like you're breathless. That was like, it was a key for me when I was doing my fast, and I needed, like, I didn't know what the hell to do. I needed to not freak out, was to breathe as slowly as I could. Mm-hmm. And the slower you breathe, the more your brain is going to go through different brainwave states. It's going to slowly unfold the world around you. Our ancestors used to breathe, like we breathe about 18 breaths a minute nowadays. Mm-hmm. And back in the 1900s only, like we used to breathe like maybe 5 breaths a minute, 4 to 6 breaths a minute was normal back in those days. And since we breathed a lot slower, we were a lot hardier, I guess you could say. We had more energy to give because we weren't constantly doing the exchange in and out, that inhale, exhale, that we held on to our breaths. And so another key thing that you want to do if you're practicing breathing, breathe in more than you let out. It feels very unnatural as you get older, but when you're a little kid, you tend to breathe in more than you let out. Because you're trying to be a puffer fish, you're trying to get big, you're trying to blow up. So you would breathe in more and hold that inside your body and then let out little, then breathe in more. Where nowadays we breathe in and we breathe out, and you can tell that ratio is not even exactly. It's a little bit more going out. Ki, inside of a Ki, it means spirit, but it also means air. And in Ki is Lord of the Waters, and in Lil is Lord of the Command. So in Ki means water, in means Lord of, and Ki means water. Enlil was married to the goddess Ki, which means earth. Well, it's just Ki without the in, you know. So Enki was Lord of the Waters, but Ki is the goddess of earth. And Ki inside Japanese means air, but also means spirit. And inside Dragon Ball Z is shown as being a fire outside your body. So the word Ki actually means all 5 of the elements combined together, or the ether. And what you're doing is you're taking in ether. You want to breathe in more and contain more ether in your body, and that will elongate your lifespan and your life processes. You also want to make sure you have the right flows. Try to avoid going into your brain when you do this type of work. You can go on the outside and come up and go around, but don't go into the inner workings of the brain, because brain yoga can cause you to have like strokes and flashes and stuff like that. Especially if you're not moving through the right channels. It's kind of a thing you have to do very lightly as you're going through, and you have to map out your own system. And there's knots in there because inside your brain, all the different points in your brain are also, they link up to different points of chakras inside your body.
Different pathways, yeah.
Yeah. And you have like your 12 cranial nerves in your head. There's also the 12 meridians inside the body. And so these two things correlate with each other. And so if you start getting a blockage in one thing here, then you know where that is. Then you know what meridian's blocked because they both correlate. No. But that's okay. He's probably doing something.
Yeah. So does anybody else have any other questions? Let me see before we wrap up the live. Let's see. Nobody else has anything else? No, I think we got cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you guys so much for taking the time out to join us. I hope this has been interesting. It's been beneficial. I'm gonna let this upload. I'll let it upload and then I'll reshare it again. And hopefully I'm gonna reshare it when it's public, so everybody will be able to see it. Yeah, yeah, so they can do it.
Problem is figuring it out.
Yeah. So go back over to StreamYard.
I do want to see this. Go
back over here. Okay. And then you just all right, we'll end it right here. So thank you guys for joining us. You guys have an amazing afternoon.
I'll use InStream. Later.